like wildfire because a lot of times it's things that tickle people's ears.
Yeah.
You know,
Itching
your ears. Yeah, it sounds good. It's, you know, oh, okay, we can have sex on the Sabbath. We can do this, you know,
Right,
and then that shit spread like wildfire, and everyone's thinking like, oh yeah, that's right because a lot of these Jake's doctrines goes along with somewhat with the world.
Yep.
You know,
It's gonna make it more comfortable for you.
Right.
The harder times get, but that's not what this is. But in a fleshly fashion, versus we should understand that we should be comforted spiritually, and our flesh will be uneasy in that day. The closer we get to that final moment, man. That's what it's gonna take. But that's why we're practicing to control our spirit now in these times. So when that day comes, you'll be like, damn, I kind of been doing this. I ain't fucking with that shit.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck don't want to eat pork, you know, in the next, you know, before the missiles come down? Nobody don't want to do that. If you up there with Esau chopped up, that's what you gonna sell out for in the moment? You know what I'm saying? Just whatever those situations are. You've been restraining from it and practicing the right thing for so long. Now you want to go back and do something different.
the scripture said,
No, I'm just saying, just not to stray away from the scripture, going back to the tares and the wheat thing.
Yep.
All right? When we talk about the tares and the wheats, tares, they look identical to actual wheat. So that's why you don't want to be quick to pull them up because you don't know if you're pulling up a wheat or a tare. So it's just best to let them grow together.
Yep.
And then at the time's going to come where they're going to, the reaper's going to come and differentiate. They're going to be able to discern the fake wheat,
The angels.
the angels,
Right.
and they're going to sift them out. And which spiritually was what they're doing is they're sifting them out through what? Through temptations,
Yep.
you know, whether it be catching hell or through seducing spirits.
Yep.
Learning from these false teachers.
That's right.
They're going to listen to them and they're going to be convinced, and that's going to get them up out of there, man. All right, like when you read, somebody can get Timothy 4, where it says the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter time some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrine of devils.
Yep.
Go to that scripture and look up the word seducing.
It's 1 Timothy 4.
Yeah.
This is 1 Timothy 4 and 1. Now the Spirit, Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. With the word seduce.
You got it?
Yeah. Okay.
It's the word for seducing. It says wandering, roving, misleading, leading into error, corrupter, deceiver.
Yeah. So you're gonna have dudes that are set up to actually mislead you. You know? And some of these men will have the craft and skill to you know, put certain precepts together, to formulate a certain narrative and doctrine. And to dudes that are weak, they're gonna be convinced.
Key. Dudes that are weak. If your foundation ain't strong, you'll start listening and you won't catch the clues that it's off.
And a lot of
It'll
niggas
sound right.
Yeah, a lot of Jakes got that lazy spirit where they rather have you tell them versus them. Okay, you telling me something great, but let me look it up and do my own research. Jake don't have that. You know, Jake got that lazy demon on him where they just take your word for it. You know, and that's something that is gonna lead to a lot of Jake's destruction.
What's the simple believeth every word?
Right. Yep.
1 Kings 22, 18. And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, did I not tell thee that he would prophesy no good concerning me, but evil? And he said, hear thou therefore the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and all the host of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left.
Another counsel in the spiritual realm. Just like the one that Satan had with the Most High concerning Job. All right, the angels, they're in order, man. Go ahead.
And the Lord said, who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth-Gilead? And one said on this manner, and on another said on that manner. And there came forth a spirit
and stood before the Lord and said, I will persuade him.
Yep.
And the Lord said unto
Came
him,
out.
wherewith? And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And he said, thou shalt persuade him and prevail also, and go forth and do so. Now therefore behold, the Lord hath put a lying spirit in the mouth of all these thy prophets, and the Lord hath spoken evil concerning them.
So there it is. So yeah, I mean, dudes are actually set up because their purpose is to mislead.
Yep.
They're to fulfill their role as false prophets. It's going to mislead all the undesirables that the Lord didn't choose. So that's why you have a lot of different sects, a lot of different groups out there. Scriptures say, believe not every spirit, but try the spirit, whether they be of the Lord, because many false prophets have gone out into the world.
Yep.
So that's what makes the path that much more narrow, that you're going to have more misleaders, more false prophets than the actual true prophets of the Lord.
I got a precept real quick. Job 12:16. With him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his.
Simple and plain. All right? So that's why we stress doctrine here. That's why we watch over, the apostles and elders, they watch for your souls. That's why you have to, trust and come up under them, because they're the ones that's watching for your souls, man.
Yeah.
And how many times somebody threw a question out to the apostles and the edification came out of it? Now, that may have just been a scoffer, but how many more people got edified by the apostles answering those questions?
How many more people might have had that same question?
Yep.
That happens a lot of times with I'll say this with kids in school.
Yep.
People be scared to ask a question, but you don't know that the person next to you got the same question as you.
I got something. 1 Peter 3:15. But sanctify the Lord Yahweh in your hearts, and be ready always to give an answer to every man that asketh you a reason of the hope that is in you with meekness and fear.
That's right. I got one too. This is Sirach 27. I started 4. It says, as one, it's funny as I was reading the sower, but anyway, it says, as one sifteth with the seed, the refuse remains, so the filth of man is in his talk. You gotta hear him teach. Let's go. So that's why when somebody will come up with the apostles, and you know that they might, so where you brother come up with whatever, be like, hey, so who taught you? Where you learn from? Well, I was over there learning at this school. Oh yeah? What's their breakdown on the mark of the beast? What's their breakdown on this topic, that topic? We hit the controversial topics, off the top and kind of read you from there. Oh man, that's off. Let us break it down for you, and then you can hear we'll hear your side and all of that.
What that does, it shows you it kind of reveals their foundation.
Yep. We're going to fix that foundation right here.
Right.
Yep. It says, the furnace proveth the potter's vessel, so the trial of man is in his reasoning. The fruit declareth, if the tree have been dressed, so is the utterance of a conceit in the heart of a man. Praise no man before thou hearest him speak, for this is the trial of men.
Yeah, be not hasty to give credit.
Yep.
So yeah, you gotta prove them. All right, you're teaching this. All right, well, let me go back and look through my notes. Let me go back and search the scriptures and see if it's so. Like right now, you got certain dudes I could feel it in the spirit. There might be a few dudes that's still amongst the great millstone fold who might be starting to listen to these castaways, these reprobates that's stirring up contention. And they're trying to teach that we're in the new covenant and the whole King David controversy. Certain dudes that are they're really their faith is not that strong, it's not that solid. They're giving heed to some of that, man. And before you know it, if they end up leaving, they'll come up with an excuse. But then all along, they was believing in that bullshit the whole time. Then they're gonna align themselves over there with them dudes, and they're gonna form some mega camp to come against Great Millstone.
They're not coming. They're not forming this mega camp to push forth their doctrine. They just become super scoffers.
Yeah, but
You know?
but they're gonna formulate
Oh,
off
yeah.
of that
Yeah.
that doctrine,
Right.
You know, but it's bullshit, man.
This is Romans 16 and 17.
Yep.
Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause division and offenses contrary to the doctrine which we have learned, and avoid them. For they that are such serve not a Mashiach, Yahweh Shai, but their own belly.
Yep.
And by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of simple.
Now, what's funny is a lot of them that serve their own belly, it's about the comforts of their own flesh. Something that they don't like, that they don't an offense that they come up to and they can't get around it, so they find another way to get past it. But they're not really past it. They just find another way to deal with it. Well, it's okay if we have sex on Saturday. My woman's been tripping anyway. And it's okay that we, then they start making all these exceptions to the law, to the rules, to what they have been keeping.
Yeah, Jake want to keep their hair. They want to wear long
Yep.
ass hair.
They make a doctrine that is, I'm a Nazarite.
I'm a Nazarite. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, now everybody's a Nazarite just so you can keep your hair,
But
so
you
your
was
woman
just
can play in it.
drinking Yayan like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You know?
And when they bring these things out, like that, they don't break down everything that, like you said, comes with being a Nazarite. You know,
And that's just an example.
that's just, yeah, it's of course,
Right,
that's an
right.
example that you're not supposed to, they're supposed to
Yeah.
drink wine.
But people always make excuses according to what they want to do, what they want to feel, and how they want to run this thing. Like they'll make all these excuses about these rap and hip hop videos, man. They know where that's in the scriptures. Please show me. Don't say with another tongue and stammering lips. Stop it. You know? These guys will reach anywhere. Y'all got it.
Sirach 32 and 17, a simple man will not be reproved, but findeth an excuse according to his will.
That's the one. Perfect. That's perfect. Let me hit this at the end of the parable, and I was gonna have Z go back, and then back to what you got, bro. This is back in Matthew 13, verse 30. It says, "Let both grow together until the harvest." Plus, they have to have time to reveal themselves, right? Until the time of the harvest, and in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, "Gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them. But gather the wheat into my barn."
Yeah, what represents the harvest? The Lord coming back.
Yep.
He's gonna burn the tares up. You know, by thermal nuclear destruction. Also by the laser fire. Not the missiles, right? Chariots. And where's the Lord's barn? In his chambers, man. Chariots. Revelation 15, the Apostle John, was beamed up to the chariot. Seen the miracle on fire. He's basically in a barn.
Yeah, those tares, those are the men who, when the Lord comes back, he's gonna say, not everybody that say unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom. They're gonna, say, well, what did we not, cast out devils in your name? Did we not, preach? Did we not do this and do that? And the Lord's gonna say, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. Those are the tares. Right? You gave off the appearance that you was a man of the Lord. A lot of people believed you was a man of the Lord.
Yep.
You misled a lot of souls. You had a following. I'm talking about these are guys who more than likely these gonna be dudes who have a name in Israel.
Yeah.
And the thing about that is it wasn't like they were never taught the proper doctrine.
Right.
You were taught the proper doctrine, but you veered from it. Well, of course, the Spirit was taking a lot from these guys also, but it's not like they never knew.
Right.
Everyone, all these brothers out here that's teaching, this bugged out shit, they at one point they knew. At one point they were taught the proper doctrine. It's just the Spirit led them away, and their pride also, which led them away to teach, the bullshit they teach.
Now, I want to bring up a quick dynamic before the brother goes back into that. The dynamic that we're going to have to deal with is these guys that don't believe in a camp. They're just forming their own doctrine.
Oh, yeah, that's been for a minute now.
They're just out there, and then the brother pick up this from Great Millstone, but then he pick up this from H.